It's a strange world out there, y'all, and it's the most unexpected things that tend to trip you up the most during your Disney World vacation. So let's make a plan. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and today I'm opening up a lemonade stand. I mean, what else am I supposed to do with all these lemon scenarios we found during our Disney World trips? There are lots of things that could potentially derail your upcoming vacation, but a lot of those things might catch you more off guard than you realize. So how big of an impact could such strange phenomenons really make? Turns out a very big one, especially if you're not prepared. That's why we're here to open up shop and start making these lemons into some lemonade. Sorry to make things heavy right from the get-go, but you need to hear this info stat. Medical emergencies don't take a vacation, even though you do, so it's important to know what to do in case a medical emergency impacts you or someone else in your group. Believe it or not, problems might be more prevalent in the parks due to the extreme Florida heat and humidity, which can lead to dehydration, along with other factors that aren't always part of everyday life. And while it's impossible to prepare for every single medical situation that could occur, nor do you need to be holding on to all that extra anxiety during your trip, you can do your best to come to the parks armed with everything you might need to know just in case a situation like this arises. For example, make sure you have any prescribed or even preferred over-the-counter medications in your park bag at all times so you can take them when you need them. You can also pick up free sample-size portions of over-the-counter meds at each of the park's first aid centers, which you'll be able to find listed on the map via your My Disney Experience app. Speaking of the MDE app, if you start feeling super under the weather at Disney World for whatever reason, and you'd like to set up a doctor's appointment while you're resting back in your hotel room, Disney actually has a way for you to set up a virtual doctor's appointment through the app, thanks to their healthcare provider, Advent Health. Video visits are available for all Disney World guests who are dealing with non-urgent matters 24/7 with no appointment necessary. Advent Health can set up a medication delivery to your resort after your appointment wraps up, so that way you don't have to worry about traveling somewhere to pick it up at a nearby drugstore. To take advantage of this service, you will need to download the free Advent Health app, so it'd probably be best to download this to your phone ahead of your trip and set up your account in advance so that you can have it ready to go if you ever need to use it. These virtual appointments do cost extra, but some health insurance may cover the cost for you, so you want to check on that with your insurance provider before your trip as well. And if you need extra emergency assistance, which hopefully won't be the case, Advent Health also has an ER close to Disney World, nearest to Animal Kingdom, where you can get around-the-clock care in a Disney-themed hospital. And remember, in a true emergency situation, always call 911, whether you're in the parks, in Disney Springs, hanging out by your pool. Doesn't matter. An emergency is an emergency, and it's best to get the help you need ASAP if you're dealing with a serious matter. So Disney's Transportation and Ticket Center is really often going to attempt to rain on your parade. The TTC can be chaotic. Now, if you're not already familiar with what the TTC is, this is basically a transfer point for the monorail station. You can either hop on board and start making your way over to Magic Kingdom or one of the monorail resorts, or you can get in the other line and start heading over to Epcot. To be fair, the Transportation and Ticket Center isn't always chaos. Sometimes it's actually pretty easy to navigate when you're in the middle of your park day and you're just trying to take a monorail between parks. But when it comes to the start of your day, leading up to rope drop, or the very end of the day when everyone's trying to get back to their hotel, these stations get ultra crowded with folks. But if you've already been doing your Disney research, you might already be aware of this phenomenon. Nothing strange to report here, right? Unless, of course, you run into an unexpected TTC crowd. Sometimes the Transportation and Ticket Center can be at its worst when one of the parks has to close early, like we sometimes see when Magic Kingdom's hosting a limited time holiday party, like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And all non-party guests have to start leaving the park as early as 6 p.m. This is when the TTC can suddenly get packed with park hopping folks who are desperately trying to get over to Epcot so they can still catch a fireworks show and get more out of their park day without it ending abruptly. To avoid this sudden influx of TTC folks right at 6 p.m. or earlier or later, depending on which park is closing and when they plan on closing, check out the park times ahead of your visit over on the Disney World Park Hours and Events calendar online. That way, you can start heading toward the monorail a little before closing to jump over to the next park before the TTC gets too bustling. You might also want to plan to avoid those early closures altogether. If you see on the Disney World calendar that Magic Kingdom is closing early on one of the days that falls during your trip, you can always plan to visit Magic Kingdom on a different day when park hours are back to normal. the best snacks could disappear. It's been an emotional roller coaster in the Disney snack scene lately. First, we watched our beloved golden brown hush puppies be taken off the menu in Columbia Harbor House and Magic Kingdom, only for them to pop back up again, which is a major relief. And then those glorious waffle sandwiches we always loved grabbing at Sleepy Hollow Refreshments, also in MK, were replaced by new Mickey-loaded waffles that we don't like nearly as much. We also had to say goodbye to another favorite waffle snack of ours recently, the blueberry Mickey waffles that used to be served over at Hollywood Scoops in Hollywood Studios. This isn't the first time Disney's taken away one of our favorite snacks, and it won't be the last, and that's not because Disney's personally targeting us, they're just switching things up. And that's okay, even if initially it may feel like a personal attack. Now, sometimes the snacks we look forward to trying the most during our Disney World trip up and leave us before we get a chance to try them, which is why it's so important to have multiple must-try items figured out for each park before your vacation takes place. And we try our best here at DFB to help you out with that so you don't have to do a whole lot of extra research. Not only do we send you snack updates on the regular via our latest news, YouTube updates, DFB website, and free newsletter, but we've also got a free snack guide that you can pick up right now by scanning the QR code you see on the screen or by heading to disneyfoodblog.com/bestsnacks. This free guide gives you an updated look at the 10 best snacks in our humble opinion that are currently residing in each Disney World park and how you can find them during your next visit. Okay, is Disney's newest water park perk too good to be true? Maybe. I mean, we're not gonna officially know how good it is until 2025 rolls around, since that's when we can actually start using this future hotel perk, but it seems we're already running into some major problems with it. Sorry, putting the cart before the horse here. Let's, as Julie Andrews would say, start from the very beginning. Disney will be offering free admission to its water parks, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, depending on what's open, on the day of your check-in to your Disney World hotel, starting in 2025. You and the rest of your party can head straight away to whatever water park happens to be open that day and start your vacation poolside. This begins on January 1st and ends on December 31st. So you've got a whole year to use this extra perk. Now, the free ticket is only available to those who are listed on the hotel reservation, so it's mighty important that you put down everyone who'll be staying with you in the room. Sounds great so far, right? Like, yay, we love free stuff. So here's the big catch. The one-day ticket is only available on the day you check in. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This means that if you arrive late in the day, or even if your flight gets delayed, you may not have time to actually enjoy this big perk. After all, the water parks tend to close earlier than the regular parks do, typically around 6 p.m. And many people don't plan on getting to Disney World until later in the day, since hotel check-in is after 3. So now you see where the problem lies. How can all of us have a better chance of enjoying the water parks to their fullest when we have the free tickets we don't want to waste? Keep in mind that it's not required for you to check into your hotel before going to the water park. As long as your reservation is linked to your Disney World app and includes everyone in the room, you should be able to enter the water park for free. Pack a small bag with your swimming gear and head on over to the water park first thing. Do not pass go. But here's what makes this plan even better. You can actually check into your hotel over on the My Disney Experience app, so you can literally feed two birds with one scone here, lounge by the poolside, and let your hotel know that you're ready to move into your room after you're done floating the day away. Another suggestion, albeit potentially more difficult, is to plan your travel accordingly if stopping by the water park is a top priority for you. This may not be possible for everyone since flights only leave at certain times and unplanned circumstances can and do happen. But if you want to better guarantee getting the full use out of this benefit, you might want to plan to arrive in the Orlando area early and stay at a cheaper off-property hotel before your official Disney check-in day. Let me know if this sounds familiar. You get excited when you start planning your Disney World trip for your family. Maybe this is a return visit for you, or maybe it's your first ever trip. Either way, the adrenaline's got your heart pumping and you're so ready to talk about it online with the Disney Facebook groups that you're part of. Only when you log into your social media page, you're immediately bogged down with a whole lot of negativity and folks saying that they'll never step foot in a Disney park again because of XYZ change. So what have you done? Have you already flushed thousands of dollars down the drain for nothing? It's easy to say don't let the haters get you down, but it's even easier to internalize all the loudest negative stuff too, believe me, and allow it to deflate your enthusiasm over your trip. Now, I'm not saying we need to be supporting toxic positivity here because, oh my gosh, we'd be the world's biggest hypocrites if we did that. Disney isn't a perfect place by any means, and it's good to keep that in mind before you travel. But the influx of negativity that comes from the online voices faces sometimes reminds me of those tattoo competition shows. Stay with me. When the judges are all critiquing a tattoo piece, pointing out the uneven line work or weird coloring choices or inconsistencies, and all I can think about is, this is already on someone's body. They can't take it back now unless they do some major cover-up work or years of laser removal session. Now, this comparison might feel like a long stretch for some of you, but that's kind of the same way I feel when I see people just bashing anyone who dares spend so much money on a Disney World trip. Like, so many people have already made those investments. They've asked for the days off and they're ready to go and make some fun memories with their families. So when the negative voices are also the loudest, that's bound to make anyone planning a trip super nervous. Again, Disney isn't a perfect place, and I do understand the backlash it receives when it comes to certain decisions. I mean, I literally just started sobbing when we lost the Hush Puppies, but even with all the ups and downs from not just the roller coaster rides, there's still a reason why it remains so popular. It's a fun time, so don't have that excitement spoiled for you just because you got trapped in a doom scroll. Instead, take the critiques for what they're worth. Many Disney critiques, like what we're sharing with y'all today, typically have some sort of solution or plan B you can factor into your trip. That way you can still be prepared for situations that arise without being completely paralyzed by them before they ever happen. Actually, you know what? Let's do a little exercise. Whether you've been to Disney or not, just drop in some positive advice or words for those who are planning to go in the comments. Recommend your favorite place to eat, talk about the fun places to shop, or reveal your favorite hidden gems. Let's make this a fun comments thread to scroll through for everyone who's here with us. We've made it to the waiting game, one of my favorite games. Waiting in line for multiple rides isn't the strangest thing you'd expect to ruin your Disney World trip. It's what happens while you're waiting in line that can throw you off your A game. Take chaotic merges, for example. Now, while I'm actually a big fan of the immersive queues for Cosmic Rewind in Epcot and Haunted Mansion in Magic Kingdom, their line merges can feel kind of suffocating. The queues start organized enough, all single file and orderly, but then the pre-shows happen and the lines suddenly become this cluster of people thrown together and trying to shove their way into whatever room is next. If you're trying to keep your group all together, hold on to each other's park bag straps or even arms and hands so someone in your group doesn't get swept up in the madness of it all. Remember, you're already in line for the ride, and it's not going to be the end of the world if a few extra folks get in line in front of you. So if you see a cluster of people gathering toward one end of the pre-show room, it's okay for you to take a step back from that chaos as much as you're able to, just to avoid those running of the bulls vibes going on. To be honest, some ride queues I really don't mind standing in for a bit because they take place completely indoors, but others, like Slinky Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios and Tomorrowland Speedway in Magic Kingdom, give you a flimsy amount of canopy shading and little to no relief from the intense Florida heat. This means you gotta be prepared before you jump in line. Wear that comfortable light clothing during your park day, pack any sort of items that'll protect you from direct UV rays like hats, sunglasses, sunscreen, UV umbrellas, carry handheld fans or cooling towels to keep you from overheating, and am I forgetting something? Nah, I couldn't be. Moving on, another thing I'd highly recommend, staying hydrated. AJ's hydration rickroll strikes again, but in all seriousness, please drink lots of water when it's hot out. Anyways, like I was saying, another thing I'd highly recommend before just getting in line for one of these main queues that's completely exposed to the elements is to consider what time of day you're trying to get in there. Earlier in the morning and later in the evening are going to be a whole lot more bearable to endure these lines since the sun's not going to be beating down on you like it will be toward the earlier mid-afternoon. And of course, you can always bypass the queues entirely by investing in the new Lightning Lane multi-pass service. If you want to learn more about that, we do have a new video on our channel detailing what major changes are about to go down with Disney Genie Plus starting on July 24th. And let me tell you, there's some big changes. So we don't need our DFB storm wizard to warn us about hurricane season because we already know we need to brace ourselves for it. Just kidding, storm wizard. Please guide us and impart your daily rainy wisdom upon us. We love you. Anyway, hurricane season starts up each June and lasts until November. Now that doesn't mean if your trip falls during that time that you're 100% guaranteed to experience one of these storms. However, according to the experts, the forecast for 2024 is calling for 20 to 25 named storms, with between 8 and 12 of those strengthening into hurricanes. 4 to 6 of the storms could potentially directly impact the United States. And that's why you need to be prepared and stay prepared, because you're going to want to have some control during your vacation, even when things feel very out of your control. The good news is if you're in a Disney World hotel while it's raining or even hurricaning out, no, hurricaning isn't an actual word, but we're coining it now, then you're in one of the safest places possible during one of these storms. Disney World has actually earned the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, Storm Ready certification, which is why Disney hotel rooms get booked up by locals around these times too. Not only are the Disney hotels safe to stay in during major storms, but they can also be fun. Disney tries to cheer up guests if the parks have to shut down for the really severe weather by every now and then inviting Mickey and friends to go mingle with guests out in the lobbies. Disney might also lift the fees for arcade games too, so you can play them for free to help pass the time. And when you need something to munch on, Disney's restaurants will provide brown sack lunches for a fee, gotta pay for it, so you don't have to worry about making the trek elsewhere to find some food. Yep, it can be comforting to know that Disney World is generally a safe place to ride out a storm, though it might be an even better idea to avoid heading into the storm in the first place. I know you don't want to hear this, but in instances like this, where hurricanes get dangerous and the parks can't open, it might be best to reevaluate your travel plans and try taking your Disney vacation at a later date when the storm subsides. Disney's website states that if a hurricane warning is issued by the National Hurricane Center for the Orlando area, or for your place of residence within 7 days of your scheduled arrival date, you may call in advance to reschedule or cancel your Walt Disney Travel Company Disney Resort Hotel package and most room-only reservations booked directly through Disney without any cancellation or change fees. So you do have some flexibility and can cancel or reschedule your trip to avoid the severe weather and any impacts that it could have on your travels. Now, here's a big takeaway I want you to keep in mind. Just because it's raining in Disney World or is predicted to rain, now we're not talking hurricanes, we're talking rain, does not mean you're experiencing named hurricane activity that's going to ruin your trip. Even when that rain becomes so thick you can barely see your hand in front of your face, that doesn't automatically mean your whole day is going to be a bust. Thanks to the summer weather patterns in Florida, there's always a chance of rain pretty much every day, especially in the afternoon. But even when you think you're encountering the strongest rainfall ever, these storms usually last for a short amount of time before the skies clear up again and everything's sunshiny once more. And also very, very humid. So, brace yourself for some major bad hair days. Even when the outdoor rides have to close until those intense storms pass, you'll still be able to do all the indoor stuff that the parks have to offer too, like the indoor rides, the restaurants, shops, shows, exhibits, you name it. We do have a video out on the channel that details how to survive hurricane season and other severe weather in Disney World, so if you want more tips on how to be better prepared for whatever could come your way during vacation, make sure to check that out when you get the chance. Okay, I think we made pretty good profit on our lemonade stand. How about you? Don't forget, we got our best snack guide with a list of updated snacks across the parks and our snack maps waiting for you to pick up right now over at disneyfoodblog.com/bestsnacks. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.